And it's an interesting race because while some people look at it and think, oh, it's around about 130 kilometres, that's quite doable in terms of distance, but it is a very tough race because the roads are quite dead and quite heavy, which makes for hard going and slow going. You can get some severe crosswinds, which once again makes it very, very tough in a peloton to keep going. And then when you get to around about the 100 kilometre mark, when you come out of Wagga, that long, slow drag out of Wagga tends to be where a lot of people get found out if you don't have enough form and if you don't have the legs and if you don't have the endurance, because that's where it really hurts. So that's where the race becomes a bit tougher than what it may look on paper for a lot of people who think, hey, 130, I can achieve that, but they soon find out that it is a tough event. Once upon a time, this event encompassed the New South Wales 100 kilometre professional road championship. So what happened was when you got to that 100 kilometre mark out of Walla Walla on the way into Albury, there was a separate finish line there with a sprint, and that's where the 100 kilometre New South Wales Road Championship was decided. So it made it for very interesting days because they recognised that that event was tough enough to incorporate the 100 kilometre championship within the race, as they have done with certain championships in amongst the Melbourne to Woodman Road Classic as well. Obviously, my personal connection is John Woodman. I knew Woody and trained with him quite a bit, rode with him, went to events with him, and just so much admiration for Woody. He was the consummate professional with the way he went about things, and an amazing mentor, an incredible rider. So my connection is that we want to see the event prolonged and continue on in remembrance of Woody. And that's very important to myself and obviously to other riders who grew up during that era and was a part of that. Being a point-to-point race, it's becoming more and more difficult every year to run these events due to the costs of traffic marshalling and things of that nature. So I want to see the event continue on. Every year we look at it as though this could be the last year, so let's support it as best we can and make sure the event continues on. And it's the kind of thing that it's the kind of event that Woody would have held, in great esteem. This kind of race event. So we want to keep it perpetuating for that reason. The equipment tips, I'd say number one, new tyres. Okay, don't risk old tyres. Don't risk having punctured tubes or old tubes. So your tyres and tubes first up. That many things can go wrong in an event of this nature. Why increase the risk of something going wrong by using older worn tubes and tyres? Secondly, get your bike checked over. If not if you're not capable of doing it yourself, take it to a bike technician and get it checked over to make sure things are tight. The roads out there are harsher than most normal roads that we ride on. We've seen instances of bottle cages coming loose and things like that. You don't want things of that nature to happen during this kind of an event. So take your bike in and get it checked over, make sure your gears are tuned, make sure your chain's not worn. But specifically it's tyre and tube. It's dreadful to see someone have to suffer a puncture in an event like this and miss out on something they've trained and prepared for something that's really fairly cost effective.